Hey friends, welcome back to the Special Kind of Motherhood podcast. Have you possibly started a garden for the first time this year, or maybe not even for the first time, but you have all of this produce that you don't know what to do with, and you're concerned that it's going to actually go bad faster than you can use it? I want to share with you today a couple of tips that I have found that have been really helpful in just extending the life of my produce and just helping me to make sure that I am utilizing everything that I'm growing. I'm spending all of my time and effort on this garden, and I want to make sure that I am using everything to the best of my ability. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Special Kind of Motherhood podcast. This podcast is for moms who are parenting differently abled children. Maybe you desire to switch to a more natural lifestyle to improve your family's health, but you have no idea where to start. You're longing for more routines and time, but every time you try to implement those tips that you've spent hours researching, you realize that they don't work for your family dynamics. Hi, I'm Ashley. In this podcast, we will focus on implementing routines, switching to a more natural lifestyle, and uprooting those old mindsets that are keeping you stuck, so that you can plant yourself firmly in the truth that Jesus offers you. Our focus will be on creating small, customizable changes that will build upon one another over time to create real impact in your life. If you want to hear from a mama who has been raising several children with special needs and who knows how important it is to do this in a way that's sustainable and that doesn't add to your overwhelm, then this is the podcast for you. Pop in those earbuds, reheat that coffee for the third time, and let's go. Hey friends, if you've been enjoying this podcast but you have not yet left it a written review, I would so appreciate if you would head over to wherever it is that you are listening to this podcast and just leave it a 5-star written review. It'll just take about 30 seconds of your time, but it would greatly bless and encourage me, and it will help others to be able to find this podcast and just grow this community. Thanks so much for your time. Let's go ahead and just talk about the fact that oftentimes whenever we have these big plans for growing a garden, or maybe even you've gone to the grocery store and you have gotten a bunch of produce that you're planning to use over the next few weeks, but then you end up forgetting that it's in there, or you don't know what to do with it, or it goes bad faster than you can actually use it. I'm sure I'm not the only person that this has happened to, and I know it can be very frustrating, and it feels like you're just literally wasting money, because oftentimes that's what ends up happening. And I want to talk with you about some different things that I have found to be really helpful for me in trying to extend the life of my produce, and also just making sure that we are using it and not forgetting about it. Because have you seen the meme where it's something about like, you bought the bag of lettuce for it to sit and rot in your drawer? I have been that person before, and I really want to not be that person. And so I've had to find different ways to really be intentional about making sure that I am using my produce. So the first thing that I want to say is that I've been on kind of this fun journey where I am really trying to only go to the grocery store once a month. And so that has meant that I've had to find ways to extend the life of my produce. Now, this is a little bit easier because we are in the middle of gardening season, which means I have produce in my backyard. But I don't have all of the produce that my children would eat. Like I can't grow apples or oranges or bananas or anything like that. So I'm still having to get some produce from the store. Plus, not all of my plants are producing just yet. So I've been really trying to figure out different ways to cut some time out of my typical routine. And one of the things that I found was that I was spending several hours every few weeks going to the grocery store. And so I've been trying to cut it down to where I'm buying a lot of stuff from Azure Standard, which is basically it's a food co-op where you can look if they have drops in your location, and we do have one close to us. So I buy a lot of my good quality organic food from them, and that has been really helpful because they come once a month, and then I've been filling them with other stuff and really just trying to make it where I'm only going to the grocery store once a month. It's been working well. Also, my thought was if I'm not going to the store as much, I'm not going to be making some kind of impulse buy. It'll hopefully save money over time. But I'm just kind of in the middle of that experiment right now. And what I have found is that just really trying to be intentional with produce has been very important, because that's one thing that we end up needing to go back for would be produce. And so the thing that I've discovered is that obviously I'm trying to eat the things that are going to go bad faster. I'm eating those first. So like our bananas, I'm definitely going to be eating those first because I know that they will go bad. And then my apples and oranges would last a lot longer than the bananas would. That would be an example of that. The other thing that I've discovered is that I'm not necessarily the type of person who I'm not planning out meals for an entire month. I just know what meals we like, and I keep plenty of the ingredients that we require to make those things. I keep plenty of that stuff on hand in my pantry so that as we want stuff, we can just put it together. But having a plan for produce before I buy it of like, what am I actually going to use this for so that it doesn't go to waste has been extremely important and extremely helpful for me. And then the other thing that we have done in the past and maybe should start again is that we have actually kept a dry erase board on our refrigerator, and we will just keep a list of what is in the refrigerator, because if you're like us, sometimes stuff gets kind of shoved back or put in a drawer and then you forget about it. So keeping a list of like, these are the leftovers we have in there, and we have this fruit, and we have yogurt in there, all of those different things. It's been really helpful in making sure that we are using stuff so that it does not go to waste. Because as you are looking to switch to a more holistic lifestyle, a lot of times food can be more expensive. You're going to pay more upfront for food. Or if you have a child who is they have very specific foods that they like. So for instance, I have kids who love certain things, but we need to make sure that they're allergy friendly. Or like a yogurt that they like, but I need to make sure that it's A2 milk and that it's grass-fed and all of this stuff. Well, I'm going to pay more for that yogurt. So it's really important to me that I'm utilizing it and making sure that we are aware that it's in there, and that I have like a quick way to check and say, okay, we've got this yogurt. We really need to eat this yogurt up, or whatever the thing may be. And so I just have found that it's very helpful for me, not just with yogurt, but also with the produce, the apples. I buy like a big 40-pound box of organic apples, and it's wonderful. I get them at a great price through Azure Standard, but again, I need to make sure that we're using them up before they go bad. And so just being very intentional about writing that stuff down has really been helpful in the past for us when we were in a season where we were forgetting about those things. We aren't so much now because I've kind of got a good routine, but in the past we have. And so having that written down where we could quickly look, especially if you're going to like make lunch for your kids and you have this moment of like, oh, your brain has gone blank and you can't remember what you should even like, what options do I have here? What can I even make them? Then a lot of times just having that where you can quickly look, you can say, okay, well, we have mandarin oranges and we have yogurt, and I have their bars that I have for them, and I have some gluten-free nuggets in the freezer. So I can throw all of that together to make them a meal. I have found it's just been very helpful in that area. The other thing that I have found, I came across this very recently and really have only started implementing this in the last month, maybe. I will link her Instagram page down below, but it's the Cross Legacy. And she actually talks about how you should wash all of your produce in most of it. She's very specific on her website. So she has instructions for different kinds of fruit and vegetables. And for some of them, it does vary. Like I know for broccoli and cauliflower, she doesn't recommend the vinegar and water solution. But so I'm saying all this to say, look into her stuff. She has amazing information. But I just want to kind of give you like an overview and how it's been helping us, especially with me trying to only shop once a month, or as I'm going out and harvesting stuff from the garden, if I want it to last long enough, because a lot of times I may get green beans, but I need them to last until I'm ready to preserve them. The same with cucumbers. I need them to be good long enough until I have enough that then I could like pickle them or do whatever it is that I'm going to do with them. And so what she says is to do for most things. Again, this is why I said check her website, check her Instagram page to see for the specific fruit or vegetable that you want to use. But you would put a 1/4 cup of vinegar to 10 cups of water, and you put those fruits or vegetables in there and you let them soak for 2 minutes, and then you pull them out. Most of them you rinse them off, and then you let them dry. You let them get completely dry. I've been doing this with, our carrots, our grapes, our apples, our oranges, our avocados. I'm trying to think broccoli, which she offered, I think it was a salt solution. But with our broccoli, I followed her instructions as well. I also did, I'm trying to think of what else. There were several other peppers I did as well. And I've tried it with our cucumbers too. And we are on, I would say, week 2 now of our second round. And I will say that the stuff that she has been saying, this vinegar solution, has worked well for keeping our fruits and vegetables lasting longer. And the reason why is because it's helping to get rid of any kind of bacteria or mold on them that would be causing them to go bad faster. She does also talk about storing them in like glass containers or sealed mason jars. Again, go check out her stuff. She has amazing information. But I have found that to be extremely helpful as well in helping to extend the life of our produce. So if you have ever tried any of her stuff, please let me know. Or if you have another tip that you can offer us in how you extend the life of your produce, Or if you can share with us a way that you love to preserve the harvest that you're getting in from your garden, I would love to hear that as well. You are welcome to reach out to me on social media, or you can join our free Facebook community. I will have all of that linked down below, along with her Instagram page as well. And just come over to our free Facebook community, share with us what it is that you have found to help you in these areas of extending produce or just preserving your harvest from your garden. I hope you all have an amazing week, and I will see you back next time. Hey, before you go, if you found value in today's episode or you learned something new, would you take a minute to share with someone else that you know would be blessed by it? I would also love it if you would leave me a review. This lets me know that you're enjoying the show, and I love hearing from you. You can connect with me further over on Facebook or Instagram. Until next time, rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, and be constantly in prayer. Romans 12:12.